Hey, this is the last part of our ChatGPT clone, and in this part, we want to be able to make sure that whatever conversation that we have with our AI, we can store the conversation inside a database and come back to it later using its chat history. So we can just test it out by saying, teach me, so I can say, teach me algebra. Then I hit enter, then I would get a response over here. So I would say, it says, okay, I can definitely help you learn algebra. Then I can basically say, give me, or I can say, surprise me. Okay, you see, then I can add an image. So you can see we have this image. Then after adding the image, what I can do is I can say, what is this? You can see this is the answer that we just got. Alright, so this is basically what we are going to be building in the last part of our ChatGPT clone series. So yeah, just stick around and enjoy it. Hey, so today is the last day and we are basically going to be working on the last few things. And what are the last few things? They are, we want to be able to send our prompts and get an answer, and then we should be able to save the conversation inside a database. Whatever chat history that we try to enter, we should be able to retrieve them. So let's not waste too much time and get started. So the first thing we are going to do is we need to go into the backend. We'll go into the routes and then the chat routes.js over here. Then right after going there, we are going to have to do a few things. Now the first thing that we are going to do is we need our first endpoint, and then the first endpoint that we are going to be writing is going to be a put method. So it's going to be router dot put. So router dot put. Okay, then inside we are going to pass in, so yeah, so this dynamic ID. Then right after that we have, you know what, let's just copy this, paste it here, and then change this to puts. Then right after we come and clear this, and then change this to updated chat, right? Then what else? Yeah, we need to also change the error. So this one, you're going to make it error saving. Yeah, let's do saving conversations. Conversation. Yeah. So right now that we have this, we need to basically work on a couple of things, right, to complete this. So first of all, we are going to open up by saying const updated chat, right? Updated chat is going to be equal to await chat dot update one. So update one, then we're going to first of all pass in the ID. Then we have the request.params dot ID. Then we need to also make sure, yeah, I'm coming, let's squeeze this. Yeah, so we need to also make sure we are passing the user ID as well, so that we can only update our chats, right? So right after doing this, we want to come down here and say, oh, now that we know that we want to update our chats, what exactly are we trying to update inside the chat? Now that's what we are trying to say. So we'll say, oh, So you see there's an array called history, right? So push inside, so inside this history array, we need, like, I need you to push some things inside, right? Now, what are the things that I need you to push, right? So the things that I need you to push inside this history array is what we're about to define here. Okay, so what are the things? We can just do a straightforward over here. We can simply just, straightforward work things out, but let's do this. So I'll just say new, so new stuff, or new items sounds much more familiar. So new items, then this new items is going to be an array. Okay, and then this array, we are going to check for a couple of things. Okay, now we want to make sure that we check for a question. So, like, in case there's already a question, what do we want to do? And then if there is no question to that is already existing while we are trying to update our chat, what else do we want to do, right? So in order for us to be able to do that, we want to first of all do some deconstruction, right? All right, so let's first, so yeah, I mean, this part is a little confusing, that's why I'm taking my time. So it's like, fine, we just destructured, right? Open up the bracket. So destructure, open up a bracket, and check for a question. But the thing is, where are we getting this question from? You're going to have to get it from the body. So we'll take like a number of things from the body. What are we taking? We are taking question, answer, and image, and then we are taking all these things from the request dot body. Okay, right, we know this. Okay, let's get back to the thing. So we've taken questions. We are saying let's check for the, if in case there's a question, right? This is basically for the user part of the model. In case there's a question, you need to basically push a new chat with its necessary properties, which is the row being what, user, right? And then the parts. Let's quickly fix this condition. So we want to make sure that in case there's no question, then we just send the empty array like this, right? It has to be colon, then we send the empty array like this, you see. So we are saying what, let's check if there's any question, or if there's an already existing question, push the new user prompt, right? Push the new one. So that is like, so inside the parts here, right, we want to check for, we want to just put inside the text. So we just say, text. Oh, come on. Okay, so this text is going to be what, the question, you see. So after doing this, we want to make sure that we are passing in one more property, right? And that is going to be an image, because you want to also be able to also pass an image to your AI, so that you can use it to run your necessary prompts. So for that, we are just going to come behind this question side, and then we have to do some checking. You see, because it's not compulsory to add an image, we have to check for an image first before we do anything, right? So for this one, we'll say, oh, check in case there's an image, send the image object, right? You get it. So now that we've been able to set this up, let's also save the conversation that has to do with our AI. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is this this side, right? We'll just come here, and then we would add another object, and then say what, row. Okay, so this object is going to take the rule, and then this rule is going to be the model, right? Then after the model, make sure we pass in the parts. Then for the parts, we make sure that inside the object the text is answer, which is the EI answer, right? So answer. Right, so yeah, I mean that's basically it. Let's quickly do our quick checks. So we have this question, then okay, nicely done over here, nicely done over here. Then I think, let me try something. Yes, so this is how it has to be actually. Yeah, so this is how it has to be. So the question, we check, okay, we've passed in all the necessary things. In case there is no question, just send the empty array and just send the answer to as well. Okay, so now that we've been able to work this out, inside the history here, this side, right, I'll just say each. So inside this each here, right? So yeah, that's how we just pass it inside, right? So right after we are done with this, let's quickly close the backend like this, then go to the API, then the index.js. Then let's just quickly copy this and paste it here, and then we just change this to update conversation. Then inside the parameter, make sure we are taking in the ID, the question, the answer, and the image, right? So we have this. Okay, then we pass in the answer, and then we also pass in the image. Okay, so you can see we have the ID, the question parameter, answer parameter, and image, and then we are passing in this thing that we're receiving from the back through the body. We are passing it through the body, right? Just like how we took them here. All right, so now that we've been able to set this up, let's quickly go to our new prompt and then do a few things. Okay, so I'll just open new prompt. Okay, so we are in the new prompt, but I realized something. Why is this still there, right? So in order for us to take it out, we'll go to the chat.jsx, then we'll clear this. I would have just removed this, but it will make it look so flat on top, so we'll not remove it totally. I'll just clean the text, and then we would have the necessary space that we need. Yes, so I think that was like a mistake. So yeah, so we just have the necessary space that we need at the top, and right after doing that, we need to make sure that we pass in this question mark, because we might fix that error again in the future. And we send the row, and then the parts. So yeah, okay, nice. So now that we have this working pretty well inside the chat.jsx, what we want to do is a few things. Let's first of all send the data, because we will need to take the data, right? So you see this data that we are getting, this data that is allowing us to display the chat. We need the ID the ID of it, right? And I think like it's a number of things, but the ID is very important. So for that, what we'll do is we just check, we see, oh, in case the data exists, come and give me, like, give it to me, like pass it through um the new prompt component as a prop, right? So we just do data dot data. Right now, we didn't just do this because I wanted us to do it, but because of some use effect things, right? But just so we don't get confused, let's just keep going. So we enter the new prompt. We'll take that data by first of all taking it from here, data, no data, so data. Then right after doing that, we need to go to the dashboard and take our use mutation. So we'll just copy this part, just this part here, and then we would come to the new prompt right under here, the use effect. We just put that inside. We don't need the navigate anymore. We don't need that. What we need to do is just import the use client, the use query client, and then the use mutation. We need to import that as well. And yeah, the rest of it is just a few more tweaks, right? So now that we have this, right, now that we have this, let's first of all start by removing this. We'll start by removing this parameter because we don't need that. And what else are we going to need? You see this part, this particular part, right? We don't need the add chat, right? What we need is the update conversation. So I'm just going to change this to the update conversation, and then the update conversation is basically going to take in like a number of arguments, right? Now what is the first argument? We need the ID, but where are we getting the ID from? We are getting the ID from the data that we passed through, right? So after that, we want to pass the question in, but we can't just pass the question in. We need to first of all check if there's a question. Now if there's a question, send the question, but if there's no question, send undefined. All right, then right after defining this, or right after putting that in, we just send the answer in case the AI decides to answer, and we send the image. So for the image, we just check the image.db data, and then after, we need to make sure that the db data exists, and after it exists, we enter the file path and then send that data. But in case that is not available, we can just send undefined. Right, so now that we have this working, now that we've been able to set this up, what we want to do is we want to go into the on success here. We want to go into the on success here and then make a few tweaks. So the first thing we want to do is, you see this query key, what we are trying to do is we're trying to get the chat here. So for that, if you go and look inside our chat.jsx and you scroll up, you see that it's just chat and the ID, right? So you just come here and then chat. Then for that, we have to pass the ID from the data that's ID. Alright, so that's it, right? Then right after working on that, what we'll do is we just come and pass, and then so what we are saying is, after this is successful, we want to do a couple of things. So we want to do a few things. Now what are these things that we want to do? We want to clear the fields, right? So we can set question, we can set the question to be empty. Okay, we can set the question to be an empty state. Then we can also set the answer to also be an empty state. Oh no. Okay, then we will come here and set the image. We set the image to as well But for the image, you just have to go back to the top here, and so yeah, so I'll just come copy this. Then I just put it in. Right, so it's here. Okay, it's here. Then right after doing this, if in case you want to verify your error, you can just, so maybe you did the thing, but you want to make sure that in case you had an error, you saw the error, you can just set, you can just do what I'm doing. So you pass in the error thing and you can just log it out. Okay, then that's it. You can get the error in case you encounter any. So right after working on this, what we want to do is we want to come to this part, the we want to come to this part. Right now, for this part, we just have to remove this set image. Then we'll say what, mutate, mutation or mutate. Then that's it. But we want to make sure that it's an asynchronous function, so that we can catch the errors too as well. So what we are going to do is we just come here and make this like a try catch block, log out the error. Right, we log out the error, then we come and copy all these things, copy all these bad boys, and then put them in here. Nice. So right after we've done this, what do we want to do? We can actually try to check it out and find out how it works. All right, so yeah, I think everything should be pretty much okay by now. We are not done though, but it should be okay by now. So you can come and test it out by saying, hey, or test prompt. So test prompt. Nice. Okay, so I think we need to get back into the code to check what was wrong. So let's quickly, I think new prompt here. So let's check, trace it back. Where's, okay, yeah, API puts, yes. So because when you check the chat route here, it says router.put, right? So let's not confuse that, and let's come back and say test prompt. All right, so you realize if we refresh, it still stays there, right? This is awesome. So obviously you realize we've made some significant progress. Now we want to work on like a couple of other things, right? Now what are the things that we want to work on? We want to first of all make sure that whenever we keep going, so I'll say something like when, so I'll say when did the NBA start, or give me, say something like give me more explanation. Okay, well, it is actually doing what I wanted us to do, but just so we are on the safer side, let's go back here. Let me try one more time. More. Okay, it's still doing it though. Okay, but I want us to get back into the project here. Go to the new prompt. and I want us to do something. You see, if there's a fresh question, fresh answer, fresh image, it scrolls into the latest view, right? But we need to make sure that whenever we navigate the fresh again, it basically would scroll back into that view automatically without us touching it. Now, for us to be able to work on that, like with the new data, all we have to do is just pass the data into the use effect here. So what happens is, if let's say we are in hello here, and then we have like another chat history somewhere else, and we switch, whenever we enter, we should be able to scroll into view. And then we also want to make sure that whenever we change the data, right, whenever we change the data and say something like maybe surprise me type thing, you realize, yes, like it just screws into view automatically based off of the data that keeps changing, right? So after you see, now we've been able to work on this nicely, right? We want to do a few more things. Okay, what is that thing? I want to make sure that this input here, I want to clear this input whenever we get a response. So how we are going to do it is we are going to be using a useRef hook. So over here we can use a form ref. So I can say const form ref, then I can equate it to useRef, then I'll set it to null, right? Then after doing that, I can come to the form. So I think this is the form. So come to the form and apply the ref, and for that we say form ref. Sweet. So for that, see this form ref that we have here, all we have to do is go to where our request is successful, and we just say form ref dot current dot reset. You feel me? So yeah, that's basically it. And then you realize whenever, let me just refresh. So let's play a game. So you see, so yeah, you realize that the input is cleared. So now that we've been able to work on that, I want us to also do something. If we go into this, so the dashboard, if we go into the dashboard like this, and we try to say something like another test prompt, you realize it just comes here and we don't get the answer that we are looking for, right? So how are we going to fix that? Let's quickly go back into the project and quickly just bring this terminal down a little bit so we have more space, and then we'll scroll up to a certain point. So what we are going to do here is we'll come down right over here, right down here, right under the handle submit, then we say use effect. So we can just use the use effect snippet and clear this line, clear this one as well, and then clear this one as well. Alright, so having this, we can simply say use we can simply check, right? So we can check and say something like, if we check the data, right, and then inside this data history array, right, we check and see that, oh, like some things are inside, so at least we have the first item inside, so making length 1, right? If we check the data history and the length of it and we realize it's 1, what do we want to do? We want to run the prompt. right? And then what are we running through the prompt? We need the text of that first text that we are sending. So we say data.history. Then we take the first item inside the history. We'll go into the parts, take the first item and text. Okay, so right after we do this, that should be it, right? But the thing here is, okay, looks like we are getting some errors. What error is that? I think we need to open, says image is loading, new prompt, image is loading. Oh yes. So for that we need to get back here and then add question marks. So let me scroll down. So I think, yeah, I mean that's it. Let's get back into the browser and check. Oh, it says expected a token. Okay. Okay, I'm confused. Expected a token 9932. Okay, let's check. Where is that token supposed to appear? Okay, we are seeing something here. Oh yeah. Oh, come on. So yeah, this was actually where the error was. So we are done with that. I just had to add the dots, the full stop here, so that it becomes, you know, an object reference. So right after doing this, you're supposed to be done, right? No, that is because it will run twice. Okay, and that is because of some production and development environment thing with like the React component lifecycle whole thing. Like it's this complicated reason, right? But we are just going to fix that very simply. And the first way we were supposed to fix that was we'll go into the chat.jsx and then we'll add the data like this. And but we've already done that. And then just so we can add like some additional security or some additional assurance, we can use a const and say is initialized, right? So is initialized, and then we set the initialized to a useref false, and then right after doing that we would come here and then we will do a few checks, right? So we'll say, oh, let's come and check if it's not initialized, or if initialized is equal to false. So if initialized is equal to false or is false, let's do this. But if it's not, just set it to true. Or if the thing runs, if after the thing has run, set it to true. Okay, so right after doing this, right after doing this we're actually set to go. But the thing is, you see this one, right, the run prompt, we want to make sure that it is understanding whatever we are doing over here, right? So that it knows how to handle the already existing prompt and all that stuff, right? So how are we going to do that? We need to first of all come here and then set, so we'll add is initial. So we want to check if there's an initial text, right? So if there's an initial text, it will just run that particular text, right? Like if there's an initial text, it will just run that particular text, but if there's not, it will just go to the new question, right? So for that, we just have to come here and then we say initial. So it's initial. So if it's not, if there's no initial text, we want to just set the question to the text, the new question that we are trying to alter, or the new prompt that we are trying to pass here, right? Okay, but if there is not any, we just want to pass like the already existing one. So for that, we'll just come here and set that to true. Set that to true, and then we need to also make sure that at a certain point in time, we'll come here and set this one to false. Okay, so now that we've taken everything nice and slow, let's come to the chat here and see LeBron James. So I'll hit enter, and okay, we should be able to get the prompt. Okay, oh, mistake, okay, mistake. How are we going to fix this? We need to check a few things. So let's trace our steps back. First of all, we have to go to the chat.gsx and do a few checks. So chat.gsx, then we checked for the data. Okay, we are passing it in, right? Then after doing that, what are we going to check? Right, what are we going to check next? We want to check for a few more things. Now what is that? We'll come to the new prompt and then we'll come and check. Oh, okay, so this is initial. Okay, so for the initial, instead of doing it like this, let's try to write an if statement for it instead. So we'll say if there is no initial, or if there is no, just run this. Okay, then after setting that, let's check a few more things. Come down here and then see, okay, this is text and false. Okay, text and false. And then we check for the is initialized here. Okay, yes, we had to make sure that this is the current, right? Then right after doing that, I feel like that's all. So yeah, this one could have still worked. We can still keep it. Actually, I thought that might have been the issue, but we can still keep it. So we can still keep it. Let's go back and try LeBron James to, okay, it didn't work. Let's bring it back. So okay, go to the dashboard, refresh, say LeBron. Nice. So you can see it is here now. So yeah. This was the mistake, this one, and we had to make sure that we set this to is initialized dot current. We forgot to add a current, so that one too is there. Okay, So I can see something like I can say tell me more. Okay, nice. Now that we have this, let's test for an image. Let me quickly close this dialog, expand it. Let's test for an image. So we can select this. What are those? So yeah, I can ask, so can you give me a product description for it, for the image, or for the New Balance. So I can say for the New Balance noise. So yeah, we have the product description like we asked for, and you can see that once we refresh, you can see that we still have the chats and the chat history all stored at their requisite places. This is great. We have our full project. So that's basically it. I really hope you learned a lot from this video actually, and if you think you have any questions or you faced any challenges, or you have anything more to share, you can just leave them down in the comment section, and like the video too, so that the algorithm pushes it to more people. And yeah, let's keep going. All right, thank you very much for getting to this point. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.